Hello, my friends. My name is Ryan Freeman. Welcome to my life as an English teacher who teaches at a public school. It is a junior high school and a senior high school here in Kaohsiung, Taiwan. I'm going to talk about three subjects. The first one, actually, no, screw it. I'm going to talk about these three subjects separately. This will be the first one. This is about class observations. I had a huge class observation this past Monday. If you are a teacher or a student, or if you remember your school days, this is where someone invades your classroom. You don't really ask your permission sometimes, and they take notes as they watch you teach your class. They're observing you, they're observing your students, they're looking at the whole dynamic, they look at your lesson plan, all of that, yada, 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 right? So as a public school teacher in Taiwan, it's pretty standard, it's in your contract, at least the contracts that I've been given, and I think it's a standard across the board. This happened to me in Taoyuan, this happens to me in Kaohsiung, where someone is required to come to your class once a month. It could be whatever class that fits their schedule and your schedule. Oftentimes I've been asked, it's by the company that got me the contract with the school, Premier International. One of their coordinators will come and watch your class and give you a rating. They have to do it. They have to do it. It's not whether you're a good teacher or a bad teacher. It's just literally the government requires someone to go into your classroom and observe, and you get a score out of 100. And then at the end of the school year, they average out your scores, and if I believe this is how it works. If your average score is above 85, you get a 1 month salary bonus. So it's a cool thing. To be observed and then to get a performance bonus for doing well throughout those observations. And when I talked to my last coordinator up in Taoyuan, beautiful young Maggie, she told me that basically everyone gets that performance bonus. So it's chill. The observation that I had this past Monday was it was different. It was different. So there's that standard once a month class observation that you'll get, which is whatever, you'll get used to it. And that you're likely gonna pass anyways. Oh, I should say also that usually your co-teacher will also give you a score. And then your co-teacher's score will average out with your coordinator's score. But as almost everyone passes by the end of the year, it's nothing really to worry about, unless, you really don't have your shit together. But I worked with some teachers that didn't really have their shit together, and I'm pretty sure they got that bonus at the end of the year anyways. So there are other observations that happen. There are professors that work with the government to try to understand what is happening with the foreign English teacher program with bilingual education. Taiwan is on this huge course to make their entire country bilingual by 2030 or something like that, or to make all of their schools bilingual is what I mean. Throughout this process, they're trying to see, they want to see how the foreign teachers are working with the local teachers. So they're observing you as foreign English teachers. They're also observing the local teachers. I will have to take part in a class observation where my co-teacher who teaches music, we do teach music together, even though I don't know music. But I help out with the English. I really actually just sit there and then have a few moments of fun with the kids. But that's not really the topic. The topic is observations. Anyway, she will have an observation that I will also be a part of. So this past Monday, I was observed by several professors as well as several people from the government, as well as my director came in, the big director, right under the principal, basically man number 2. As well as a bunch of the teachers, local teachers, in and around my office. So there were quite a few people in the classroom. and then my co-teacher's there as well. And I did basically the entire lesson. My co-teacher just sort of walked around to help students out a little by little. And, you know, there's a lot of pressure, because you could see how important it is to my director and my co-teacher. They've got more pressure than I do. Like, Ryan, are you ready for they were messaging me about this lesson last week. Are you going to be ready? I mean, this observation's coming. And my stand, I try to be flippant and sort of joke around like, well, I hope they're nice. I'm just going to wing it, which is usually what I say. Although I do come prepared, but I do still sort of wing it. I just sort of I read through the article that we're going to discuss, highlight words that I can have fun with in the classroom, and I just try to be myself as much as possible. It's not always easy to do that when other people are watching you and observing you, but I don't want to have anything scripted. This is my approach. I'm not saying that this is what other people do. I went to another teacher's class observation last semester and everything was scripted. They had even rehearsed it. Other teachers had worked with her, coached her, and it was just a total performance. For me, I don't like that. I don't like other people telling me how to teach. I don't like other people giving me ideas. And anyways, they obviously trusted me because they didn't even try, other than just trying to remind me that the big day was coming up. So I read over, it was a story, and in this magazine that we're working with, and I just highlighted some words that I was interested in that I thought they might not be accustomed to, that I could teach them how to use those words and how to have fun with it. Because for my teaching philosophy is, I'm going to have as much fun as possible in the class, and I want them to have as much fun as possible in the class. I want everyone to walk away from the class thinking, hey, that was a great period we just spent together. So I try to be myself. And, here's the thing. I wasn't really looking forward to it because I do feel pressure. But, that pressure sort of pushed me to shine. It was probably better than a normal class. Without the pressure, because people were observing me. I don't know why. It was sort of, pressure makes diamonds. You've heard that expression. I'm not saying that I'm a diamond, but I nailed it. And it was fun to nail it in front of this room full of all of these very important people and my coworkers. I mean, it was pretty normal to what I normally do, but everything went really well. Probably helped that the students were probably told beforehand to be on their best behavior. So after I nail it, I go back to the office to sort of relax and chill out, and then one of my coworkers, this lovely lady named Iju, tells me, Ryan, come. She does it in a very cute way, and says, you got to go meet with these professors and the government officials. So I'm whisked away to the principal's office. The principal's not there because she's in Korea. Principals are traveling all the time, I guess. She is quite on the move. This Lisa, who I've talked about in previous videos, who I love so much, I miss. But anyways, I'm in her office, and this table full of bigwigs, professors, government officials, my director, are at this table, and I sit down, and they switch from Chinese to English, and they were so friendly and polite and complimented me in such a nice, real way. It was not sort of, it was warm-hearted. They were like, Ryan, this is what our country is missing. We do not teach English right. What you did was absolutely phenomenal. The students were talking to each other, and they talked to you, and they wanted to pay me compliments. They were very thrilled. They said it touched them. They hadn't been touched like that in a classroom in a very long time. So that felt fantastic. So I guess what I'm trying to say, and this is just going to be this short video about class observations. I have other stuff to talk about. But I want to make these videos a little shorter and just about specific topics. Is that as an English teacher at a public school in Taiwan, you will have class observations that are just standard in your contract that aren't a big deal, but that as long as you do a decent job, you'll most likely get a 1-month performance bonus at the end of your contract. And then also, you may or may not be observed by government officials and professors. This happened at my last school. Didn't happen to me at my last school. It was supposed to, but the dates got moved around. But it did happen to me this past Monday. And what I would like to say is that I wasn't happy when I heard that it was going to be this sort of big thing, and everyone was stressed and everyone was worried. Would I be prepared? Would it go well? But after, I am so happy that I did it. It was a really special experience, and it was good to talk to these gentlemen and hear their opinion. It wasn't all compliment. I mean, it was all compliments, but we talked about English education in general, and it was a nice experience, is what I'm saying. And it also pushed me. It did push me. It did, when the pressure is on, it can give you, as long as you don't crumble, it can give you that extra boldness, or that extra, the nervous energy transforms into a thrilling chance of nailing it in front of the eyes of spectators who are eagerly watching your every move. That is fun. It's almost like I do jujitsu, and I just like to go train at my gym and beat people up, or they beat me up, not really hurting each other, but you know what I mean. I like weekly training at my gym. But my last gym in Taiwan pushed me to do a tournament, which I was deathly afraid of, because people would be watching, there would be medals, and the risk of injury was higher because people are going to be going 110%. And although I dreaded it, I was really happy I did it, because my performance actually wasn't spectacular, but I still won a gold medal. And I felt happy when it was over. So I don't know. Are observations a good thing or a bad thing? I guess it depends if you like to show off. Depends how you perform under the heat of the gaze of people watching you and marking things down. But it is a part of the job, and it's not something you can avoid. It is something you could put a lot of preparation into, work with your co-teacher, and get help from your school. It's not something you need to really worry about. Everyone wants you to succeed, so that's always a positive thing. But I just thought I would talk about it. And I will talk about a couple other things that happened to me this past week, but I'm going to do that in another video. Thank you for watching. My name is Ryan. Bye.